Welcome to Anything Goes, the best geek and pop culture podcast broadcasting from Long Island, New York. I'm your host, Timothy Rooney, and who is with me today?
The one and only Mike Wilson.
Yay!
We are here on this muggy, nasty, rainy Saturday in the aftermath of Hurricane Joaquin Phoenix as he sweeps the East Coast and the Oscars.
But the thing is, if you're listening to this is actually going up on Halloween itself, so this is actually from a couple of weeks earlier.
October 3rd today is?
Yes,
recording?
today is the 3rd. And this is for Halloween 2015 season. This should be the final podcast for the Halloween season for who's ever listened to this far. And it wouldn't be appropriate to do a Halloween podcast without talking about John Carpenter's Halloween, which is the movie we are doing today. And since we're doing a commentary track to it, you could sync up your own copy of the movie if you want by putting the movie to timestamp 0 and be ready to press play when I say so. Mike, are you ready?
I am ready as I will ever be.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. Now, everybody, press play. Don't hit your mic stand like I just did, and press play now. And Compass International Pictures? Yay!
Indeed. Are they still around?
International Pictures. I don't think so.
As an entity? As anything?
I think, what's his name, who ran the company?
Erwin Yablans?
Erwin Yablans. I think he's still alive. I mean...
I know he's still alive.
But I think I don't think... I think the company's defunct at this point, so... Who knows? Now, Mike, when was the first time you saw this movie?
Oh, God. I saw it when I was 13 years old, back in 1997. My wonderful cousin, Jessica, shout out right there, made me sit through this when I was staying over my aunt and uncle's place. And it terrified the hell out of me. I mean, like, life-disruptingly terrified.
Right.
I would go home. Back then, I was a latchkey kid, get home from school, have the place to myself for a really long while.
Right.
This nice two-story house, and as it was becoming the fall and winter season and getting darker sooner... And I'd want to go upstairs because we had the big TV upstairs with all the video games and everything. I would just be terrified to go upstairs because it was dark. I'd have to hit switches downstairs to get upstairs and then turn them off when I got up there. I had to have like lights following me throughout the house.
I do the same thing even still a little bit to this day because the switch for the main hallway in the basement where I'm recording, there's two switches. There's one down here in my sister's old room and one near the front door. And it's like one of those things. Like, I'm going to put this on because I don't feel safe or something like that. Then turn it off when you get upstairs. I'm like, okay, I'm fine now. And as we're going into the intro of this movie, we have a illuminated pumpkin as the orange-tinted credits play before us.
I think I still have a cutout pattern of this thing from like 13 years ago that I never actually like used on a pumpkin.
Really?
I think I have it saved as an image on my computer. You just print it out, tape it to the pumpkin and cut.
Well, now, if you don't use it, I'm going to use it this year. I'll ask for it because I'll make that as my pumpkin for this year.
Sure.
Sweet. And as the flicker that goes out, directed by John Carpenter, comes up, and the movie's about to begin.
Directed by Smokey the Chimney.
Haddonfield, Illinois, 1960.
Palm Halls, unfiltered extra tower. God, his voice.
Speaking of voices, and we were saying this before the podcast started about like my mic placement. We were thinking about having it like Lemmy with really above me. This is John Carpenter, and I made the movie Halloween. And just pretend if Lemmy voiced John Carpenter, because that's what he pretty much sounds like on the 35th anniversary of the Blu-ray.
The 35th anniversary Blu-ray, if any of you have it, the commentary track on there. Listen to the original DVD or Blu-ray release, one of those, the commentary from that, then listen to this. He sounds like he's been in a rock band for way too long.
Oh, he was in a rock band, technically, because the Coupe de Villes is a song that's played in here, and that's him with Tommy Lee Wallace and Nick Castle.
The Bowling Green Philharmonic, they called themselves, I think.
And as this Panaglide shot, and that Panaglide was camera support system made by Panavision. It was their version of a Steadicam as it peers through the window looking at Judith Myers and her boyfriend. I mean, there's always jokes of like Quick Draw McGraw when it comes to...
The boyfriend, the two-pump jump.
Not even two pumps. I don't think he has time for two pumps. I think he has time to get off his clothes, one pump, and then skedaddle.
I think he got his clothes off. Well, I mean, we see him putting his shirt back on. I thought he was like pants around his knees.
I was going to say, like, he didn't do the zipper or anything, because that'd be that. And now this song right here, the sound, like the... I heard that once in high school when walking towards the front office, stuff like that. I heard that behind me for some reason. I turned around, nobody was there. It was just one of those weird moments. I think my memory was just, I think it was around fall time, so I think my I guess my memory was just triggered by that somehow, and that's what I heard that as the camera tracks into the house right here. And it's obviously shot in anamorphic cinemascope here, which is a kind of an oddity for low-budget movies then, especially for horror movies, because most of the stuff was shot 185, which is the taller frame. And I think it kind of adds something to this movie, do you think?
He wanted a frame where, I mean, he's presenting the killer in a way where the killer could be anywhere, and he wanted to make a wider frame, I think, just to add more space, just so you would think, where is this guy? Because obviously there's many moments when he just pops out of from behind anything.
Yeah, either left or right side of the frame.
See him coming out of potted plants like Wile E. Coyote.
Now, and one of those things that I feel like it made the movie feel bigger with it being shot with true anamorphic cinemascope and not just Super 35, but which I'll get into that later as the killer or potential killer.
As the two-pump chump comes downstairs from a satisfying evening. Satisfying for him only.
Yeah, he's going to walk home and give himself a high five for what he did. He's going to like go to his buddy. He's like, do you know, Judith, man, she was totally pleasured by me tonight, man. It was awesome.
It was so good she died from it.
I'm sorry if I just hurt anybody's ears with that. I apologize.
Stab wounds from my dick.
Now, didn't you, you built this house in Minecraft, didn't you?
Yeah, because I have no life. Well, wait, anyone who plays Minecraft has no life and they're building things. But, I mean, I haven't gone insane. Like, I'm not one of those people that built Westeros from Game of Thrones. Or people who built, like, entire Legend of Zelda overworlds. I just did the Myers house. And,
or the Star Destroyer or anything like that.
Yeah, Star Destroyer in the sky. I mean, I think mine came out good. The only issue with replicating things in Minecraft is that I read online somewhere that Minecraft, the blocks are more square meters.
Not square feet?
Not square feet, not footage of any kind. So the house, even though I feel it is very accurate, especially, and it helps because in the movie you have this first-person view.
Of like this woman being murdered right now.
Yes, of this large-breasted high school hooker being stabbed to death. And as he looks at his own hand, I don't understand how that works.
I think it's just to hide the blood because they probably couldn't put any makeup on it. She probably smeared blood on herself.
Just using like the ketchup packets they got from McDonald's earlier that day.
Yep. And now like this is supposed to look like it's supposed to be one shot, but there's a cut right there.
It's 3 cuts, I think, in total.
Yeah, there's one when he puts on the mask, that, and then the end of the shot where it goes into the camera crane move.
But
and I think it's the only camera crane move in the whole movie. I think they can only afford it for the one night.
But with Minecraft and everything, like the fact that like Minecraft is a first person game, and you have this first person perspective, really, really, I think helped me with building it.
Right.
The interiors though feel a little bit compact and claustrophobic because obviously you're in square meters than feet.
Yeah.
I think it's like 3-point-something feet to every meter.
Right. And
so the rooms are a bit smaller.
And the mom who couldn't be, seemed so dissatisfied, like, Michael, what have you done?
Like, oh, you got my kitchen knife dirty. How am I going to cook dinner with that?
And the father's just kind of frozen and like, what did you do?
I kind of wouldn't be standing there mute.
I probably like one of them would go run inside to see what happened, where's Judith and stuff like that. And we go to Smith Groves, Illinois, 1978, October 30th. And probably like the cheapest way to make it look like you have rain in the movie, you pretty much just shoot it like Process, where you just kind of shake the car back and forth, the lights move back and forth, and some rain, and there you go.
Just throwing buckets at people. Now, the first couple of times I saw this, I would always catch it on TV.
Right.
I think the second time I ever saw it was on Encore, and then USA Network would do it, and then TV 55, local station out here, would do it.
Right.
I was able to actually catch the TV version scenes a couple times.
And to some who may not know what the TV version is, explain what do you mean by that?
In 1981, around the time when Halloween 2 was being produced, Halloween 1 was being put on television for the first time on NBC, and for a lot of times, like to add length or to shorten length or whatever, they'll have to remove scenes,
right?
Add scenes, whatever. But Halloween didn't have any deleted scenes.
No, they shot every page of the script and made it into the movie.
So in order to format it for time, like you'll always see when you watch a movie on cable, this movie has been edited for time,
yeah,
or whatever. John Carpenter had to shoot some new scenes during the production of Halloween 2.
Which must have been a really strange thing for him to do that, because at that point, he's off the fog and escaped from New York and has to come back to do this while he's probably in preparation doing the first initial meetings for the thing. He has to come back and do these pickups, so to speak,
for Halloween. Pickup shots for a movie that's been made 4 years ago.
strange. And now
I didn't care though because I was so. By this point, the movie had done its damage to my life that I was so engrossed in it. And anything new, you could have had Michael Myers doing the Charleston, and I would have been just as enamored with it and just as obsessed with it.
he did Kung Fu once.
No, Busta Rhymes did Kung Fu. And then when he kung fu'd Michael Myers out the window with the wire around his neck, that's what I did after watching that movie. I jumped out the window with a cable wire around my neck.
Where of course we're ignoring the two
fucking movies so much. I know you want to keep the language too because you want to keep this.
Fuck it, let's go.
It's Halloween Resurrection. You cannot not swear at Halloween Resurrection.
Yeah. As we're watching right now, we have two actors in the scene with Donald Plenis playing Sam Loomis, the same character named after a character in Psycho, which is not the only Psycho reference in this movie. And the nurse, I always forget her name.
Marion Chambers?
Chambers? Was that the character's name or the actor's name?
That was the character's name.
Right.
The actress, I forget. But she's been in all the Carpenter stuff. She was the woman going on her Facebook conspiracy theory rant in the airplane during the beginning of Escape from New York.
Oh, yes, she was. Oh, my God. I forgot about her. Yeah, I forgot about her.
That was the Halloween reunion Escape from New York.
Yeah, because you had
Dan Chalice and Lee Brackett in one scene.
And then you had Tom Atkins, who would be in Halloween 3 later on, a few years later.
Dan Chalice.
Yes. And then
I was going by the character names.
Oh, okay.
From Halloween.
And now Nick Castle assaulting a woman while she can't be bothered to put her cigarette out because it's that important because it's the 70s and everything must have cigarettes added to it.
Cigarettes. Everything must have a cigarette added to it, like John Carpenter.
I know. And they're trying to do this car crash here and do it cheaply, so they're just kind of shaking the camera back and forth. And if you look really closely to Michael Myers' hand right here,
which is about to come in frame, there's a wrench in his hand.
I
wonder if he cut his fingertips on that.
Probably. And then you know how cold that must have been in a late spring night in that one that little sheet in the
garden hose water hooked up to a rain tower.
The evil's gone.
He just has a bunch of people on top of ladders with watering cans. That's how cheap it was made.
Oh man. I mean, obviously this is shot very Dean Cundy does a fantastic job in this movie, but it definitely seems like they have one key light here, and that's lighting the whole scene right now.
The Hollywood Reservoir.
Yeah. Man. And then we cut to
Haddonfield,
which is named after Haddonfield,
New Jersey,
where
Deborah Hill came from.
Right, and this is actually shot in Pasadena, California.
South Pass.
Which I am convinced
that one of these days we'll make it there.
Well, we are going there regardless.
When I win my lotto ticket.
We are going there regardless. One way or the other, we are.
We have to smuggle ourselves.
In the Halloween remake, the Rob Zombie version, I am pretty sure that Annie Brackett's house is actually George McFly's house in the first Back to the Future. The one she runs out screaming topless, and Tyler Mane, Michael Myers, thrashes her back inside. But we're not talking about that right now.
There were a couple locales in Zombies Halloween that were in the original Halloween that made it back.
Like this one, particularly because when Laurie Strode looks at the high school window, she sees Michael standing in front of this house.
In front of the Strode house.
Yep.
And also later on when the girls are walking back home, which was shot in Hollywood, they turn a corner and there's a stone wall there. Laurie Strode in the remake.
Yes.
That was when she separated from everyone and was walking home by herself.
And walking by herself, that's kind of like what the original Jamie Lee Curtis Laurie Strode is doing right now. And this looks like Americana. This looks
like Garden City, New York.
Yeah.
Garden City, Long Island. There's this one street I worked on a while back, and I remember just sending you a text and dude, go on Google Earth and look up so-and-so road, Garden City, New York.
And with I totally forgot to.
And you totally forgot to.
Because I'm a jackass.
There's actually a street nearby my aunt and uncle's house in Kings Park.
Really?
That has the same trees like that, except it's more curvy and turny. Now, if you look in the background, you can see
palm trees.
Big palm trees right there.
And we are introduced to Tommy Doyle here, the very imaginative kid that Laurie Strode babysits. And as you can tell with this, unlike most horror movies today, everything's being played out in wide shots. It takes its time. It's not unlike Big Trouble in Little China, which that pace is really quick. This one, I always feel since because they didn't have that much money, they didn't have a lot of time for coverage, so they probably had to do most of it in the master shot and stuff like that.
And as we're watching this, these shots of them walking, you can see all these houses that are no longer there.
Yep, especially this one, the Myers house, which is still there, but it's not.
It's still alive. It's at the end of the road now.
Yeah,
where the train tracks were.
which we'll point out later on.
But yeah, they got rid of all these houses and put up just these like rich-looking condos.
And
Such a shame.
And the first sting of the movie with Michael Myers showing up. Now, is he wearing the mask right now?
I would suspect, just because like we see him very shortly after, like what, another scene or two by the high school.
Yeah,
when he's looking at her.
I just feel like, because how long is the alarm of that hardware store still going off?
8 hours, probably.
That's
I'm
what
assuming.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like this is early in the morning because you can't really see his face there. It kind of looked like normal color when he turned into frame like this, and I love this shot right here. This is the reason why this movie works so well, is because they shot in CinemaScope and it looks beautiful.
Yeah, but that would also be foolish, robbing a hardware store that's in the middle of a big road right in the middle of the day.
But do you think he's running on logic right now?
Well, he's got to be, because he's got to avoid trouble.
That's true, because he has to complete
He is a logic machine. Kill, destroy, distract. That's why he cuts the power, cuts the phone. He's like me when I play Metal Gear. He's like me when I play Metal Gear Solid 5. Cut the power, cut the transmissions, and then kill everybody sneakily.
But then you find out then
I find out I'm not really Michael Myers.
You're not Michael Myers. And
Spoiler alert! I'm Venom Myers.
And you have all the people you've rescued or something like that have a parasite that's a disease linked to the larynx somehow. I don't get.
Vocal cord parasites.
Baloney. Hey, Dr. Wynn, you're in there for this one scene. Don't worry, 5 movies from now we'll get back to you.
We'll see you in 17 years.
When Donald Pleasance will go for his last performance.
He's going to go into his evil basement now.
Yes.
In that perfectly sterile environment that they delivered a child in Halloween 6. Even Daniel Farrens himself says that was crap.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted to be more like modernized, the Omen type.
Right.
Not so much as a evil dungeon cult.
Now, this is something like, I didn't see, the first time I saw this was probably on TV a while ago. I mean, years ago, obviously, but I'm saying I didn't see this one first. I saw H2O first because my sister, like my first horror movie I ever saw was Scream, and that's obviously a love letter to this movie because that was aimed for my sister's like demographic when that came out. So they watched it and foolishly let me watch it.
Myself included, my demographic.
Yeah. Well,
that was the second horror movie I ever saw.
That's also one of the reasons why we both love those series.
I remember just being so like when it came, I'm there with my step siblings watching it, and just like I'm just in frightened, terrified anticipation. Mm-hmm. And then that night, I got like one of the best night's sleep I ever had.
Well, I'm saying like when people ask why do you watch horror movies, I like that adrenaline rush. It's a safe adrenaline rush. I'm not putting needles or anything up my nose. I'm just watching a movie and then just releasing
needles up your nose.
Yes,
tickle your brain.
It's really small, so I can find it. So, and welcome to the 3 bullies.
If it was that small, it wouldn't touch it.
Shut up. He's gonna get you. He's gonna get you. He's gonna get you.
The 70s haircuts.
Oh, I had that Tommy's hair. I think I had when I was a little kid. I think everybody had that bowl cut.
It's all 4 members of the Monkees.
Oh man, and this is this is probably how the Monkees probably broke up with something like a move.
They
like
broke
this.
up over a pumpkin.
Yep. Boom. What jerks. That's what happens when this.
Oh God! Oh,
shits
Jesus.
himself. Duh! I should run away. Don't worry, you'll get your comeuppance in a Halloween comic 20 years from now.
Yeah, right. Those were good. That first three series, the 3-parter.
So I remember we saw this last year on the big screen. There was a
Yes.
digital presentation of it. It was really weird how the patterns is when it came to this chain link fence. I don't know what it was. It's something that bothered me, and obviously we're watching this on a different format right now. We're watching it off my computer and have no problems. And like most of my podcasts, like a lot of it will end up talking about film versus digital, and I feel like it's something. I guess I don't want to use maybe the word magical, something that's shot in 35mm film. But granted, that was like the only format people would go to other than 16mm, which was considered a very low budget alternative that wasn't really thought about in the same breath.
See, my feelings on film versus digital are pretty much the exact opposite of how I feel about audio. With audio, I love tracking, mixing, pretty much everything on digital. but mastering it on tape.
Yeah,
because tape you get that warmth. And I interned in a recording studio, and he showed me the difference, and it was amazing just the dimension it added. With movies and stuff, I love filming on film, but then doing all the mastering stuff in digital because of all the amazing cleanup work you can do. Like we're looking at a
cleaned up print.
Well, this print is based off one of the Blu-ray copies, and like me, I love Blu-ray.
Yeah, no,
I love Blu-ray. Just what they can do to bring something back to life.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at like The Evil Dead, the first one, there's only so much you can do to clean that up. That was shot dirt and cheap and stuff like that. And
so was this. So was Texas Chainsaw.
Well, Texas Chainsaw, especially the latest Blu-ray, the one you got, it looks
the 40th anniversary Blu-ray.
It looks really good.
Absolutely incredible. So I mean, I love like do the filming, capture it on film, and then make your mastering on digital.
Yeah, but also make one print at least for archiving purposes because
make several.
I mean, like it happened with Toy Story 2, where the master file almost got deleted from the Pixar hard drives. So it's just like,
digital's not foolproof.
Not at all. And then not the only off-camera death. We have the the truck driver mechanic. I wonder, how did he get him to that side? Did he just like wave him down or something like that?
Maybe he like ran him off the road.
That's possible.
Or tried like cutting him off.
Fender bended him, and when they go talk about it, killed him. He could have like hit it, like fender bended him, and then they pulled to the side to talk about it.
Probably.
And then that's when he killed him. Now we're totally gonna have to talk about these characters right now.
Totally.
That's
Miss 70s herself, PJ Souls.
Yeah, because she had Rockaway High School and Carrie.
Rock and Roll High School.
Rockaway.
That's in Queens.
Yeah.
See, this is the wall where in Halloween remake, Scout Teller Compton comes down to walk from home. They filmed it from the other side.
Gotcha. And, look at your face.
The monster is on screen.
Nancy Loomis herself. Which you have to explain to the audience, why don't you like Nancy Loomis?
It's not that I don't. I don't know, whatever. I just think in this movie, she's just the most unattractive thing I have ever seen in my life. I don't know if it's just like the 70s style. She looks emaciated half the time. I want to give Sally Struthers some money to send her a sandwich, but she'll probably eat it on the way. Just like, my God, man. I'd rather sleep with Michael Myers than that. I'd rather sleep with Donald Pleasance than that. Listen to him tell spooky stories as he takes his pants off.
While he's railing you. Yeah, I'm the Duke. I'm the Duke.
He has me bent over. I'd rather that. I'd rather scream to him that he's the Duke of New York. He's a number one in the butt.
Oh, shit. Obviously, the three main female leads are piss off Michael Myers. I think this is how they pretty much... He probably wouldn't have touched the two of them if they probably did piss him off here.
I really believe he would have, just because look at his whole setup at the end with Laurie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's all about... That's an aspect that's really almost forgotten in later, is that he's about tricking and treating.
Right.
Like, he tricks you and then treats you with death.
Yeah.
He sets up this horrible scenario. There was one film in the 25 Years of Terror DVD, the documentary. There's one guy who says... Anyone as resourceless as Michael Myers could have knocked these people off in 5 minutes. What he loves doing is messing with them, with the scares.
Right. It's a build up to that. Then you finally...
And that's why I feel is missing out of the Rob Zombie remake. It's like you never really see... You don't really get to... Well, first off, I mean, what little you get to know of Michael Myers is not really all that likable. Like, okay, he's killing his pet rat, but I'm supposed to feel sorry for this kid because he's abused.
And
but
like his mom's a stripper, so we have to care about him that way?
Yeah, his mom is played by Rob Zombie's whore of a wife. Who he whores her out in his movies, his music videos.
Two checks versus one. I understand.
Exactly.
Which I can understand. Doesn't mean I condone it.
Her paycheck is getting to sleep in the same bed as Rob Zombie and call the police when the skate punks outside are making too much noise. But
look up the story of like Google News, Rob Zombie skateboarders. You'll get a chuckle out of that.
If you're going to delve into Michael Myers' backstory, I personally feel it would be appropriate to look into to set something up where like loves Halloween, he loves messing with people, and that sort of later on when he transitions into the killer, you see it's a more dangerous version of that part of his psyche.
Right. It's by extension what he's
I
doing.
think it would be appropriate at least.
Right.
And the famous hedge,
Do.
which I'm surprised it's even still there because of the amount of people that ask the owner, "Could I take a piece of the hedge?" And just walk away with the whole thing one day. You see a pickup truck back up with like a big hook, tie it around, and just rip it right out of his yard.
Roots and all.
Roots and all. Roots, bloody roots.
Roots! Bloody roots!
Thanks, Max.
I am still pissed at Andy. Sorry.
I'd be too. Look at what he did to Sepultura.
Yeah. That's why he's got the Caravel conspiracy with his brother Igor. It's funny. I was watching the Get Thrust documentary last night.
What did they do? They make Frankenstein? Igor?
There was the cigarette smoke of John Carpenter.
John Carpenter, always smoking.
That was all the smoke that's coming out of my ears of this. That was a terrible pun, sir.
Oh, shut up. You are the punisher. Because I feel punished every time you open your mouth with them.
Oh, man. And we haven't really been talking about Jamie Lee Curtis and her performance here.
Yeah, whatever.
Do you think... What?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, I was going to
Go ahead,
slap you. Like, do you feel like if... Kind of like the reason why Scout Taylor Compton's performance as it was, because he wanted to liven up Laurie a little bit, at least make her a little more modern. Do you think that kind of lost some of her essence?
Not at all. I really liked Scout Taylor Compton in both the remakes.
Even the second one?
Even the second one, because the thing about the second one is like, as much as people hate the second one, I know you asked me this one time, you asked me my favorite Halloween movies in order.
Right.
You were a bit surprised to hear that H2 was not my dead last.
Yeah.
Because as I watched it, I understood what he was going for.
I'm not sure if he did.
He was going to... I know that a lot of it was also studio interference and just the simple fact that Rob Zombie feels the need to make a silly movie with silly dialogue and silly characters and silly everything else.
I mean, I wouldn't expect the NC-5 to kick out the jams to be in a Halloween movie, but we got it anyway, so...
I mean, her performance I loved in H2 was more about showing the aftermath of, like, what happens to these people. And I feel like that's far more interesting.
Which I did. I just feel like it was just... They could have been done more with it.
Oh, same thing with both movies.
Yeah, I mean...
I feel like the final product would have made a good first draft.
Yeah. Even the ending? Well, which ending?
The theatrical ending I really liked. Of H2.
When she comes out with just the mask?
When she comes out and now she is him. Because Rob Zombie in both those movies was playing up the whole mental illness thing.
Yeah, it's
the biggest factor. And we are seeing that as Laurie's psyche slowly erodes from the trauma she faced, that she starts hallucinating the same thing as Michael Myers, that his dead mother and him as a young child are talking to them. And at the end when she comes out with the mask on, like she has become him. She's accepted her fate.
It's kind of like what Star Trek Nemesis would ask, like if it's nature versus nurture when it came to upbringing. Are you born evil or are you just simply it?
I think in Rob Zombie's films, Michael Myers was born evil and Laurie Strode, because of him, was made evil.
Gotcha. And then we have this really, like, whenever you see a clip of Halloween, it's usually this clip when she looks out the window and all of a sudden he's there and then he's gone. Now, there's three interesting things. One is the James Enzer poster, which is about, I forget why, we looked him up something, but it's definitely part of the subtext. The Raggedy Ann doll shows up in Halloween Resurrection, where like she's hiding all of her meds. And there's a really messed up line.
And it looks just like her friend Annie, Raggedy Ann.
There's a really messed up line that Annie says to her coming up on this conversation. And he's like, I thought you're losing it. And Laurie replies, I lost it. And Annie says, I doubt that. And I'm like, what a bitch. You making fun of her friend because she hasn't lost her virginity? Dick.
She's going to die anyway. So
that's true.
It's like whatever. Laurie wins. Laurie wins, I guess, because she lives for another 23 years.
Yeah, but then she has a relationship with the Fro Man himself.
But then she realizes that she's contractually obligated to come back. So she decides, okay, I'm going to die really quick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame her for getting out of. How would you feel if she ended up in the climax of Halloween Resurrection somehow?
If she physically, I would have thought it sucked. But if they did something to acknowledge that she existed, like pretty much everything after the opening of Halloween Resurrection, it's like nothing ever happened.
No.
It's like nothing ever happened. Nothing happened in the franchise. It's like we know this is a serial killer named Michael Myers, and this is his house.
Yeah. Good point.
I felt like there was no payoff. It felt like a weak plot. I felt like it would have made a good TV show plot.
maybe like a one-off episode or something.
Halloween, the TV show, if there was ever to be such a thing. But
Which I do have a concept for one, and one is being turned into a short film, which should be out very soon. Now, back to this scene here, obviously still on in Pasadena and stuff like that. And I don't know, I think it's moments like this that are kind of missing, like as in later movies. Like, it's a moment of just to breathe and take in the Halloween spirit.
Yeah, you're looking around. But also, I feel like it does a lot for us, the audience, because we know that there's a killer following her.
Right.
And just showing these plain shots of the street makes you wonder, all right, this guy's already been here, here, and here. Is he going to be here, here, and here?
Right. And
it always keeps you guessing.
And I think it's because of this scene right here I was able to get an A on a paper, because we see Laurie smoking a doobie, and the paper was like about how slasher films are
Matt Foley.
Smoking doobies. That was saying that the best parts of slasher films are actually empowering women, and it's just kind of this weird perception they think it's always disempowering to women. And like, it's like who are always the heroes in most slasher movies?
My name is Michael Myers, and I live in a van down by the river.
Down by the river. This kind of looks like what Chris Farley would look like, the caretaker that's standing next to Pleasance right now.
Chris Farley.
He's probably in this graveyard somewhere now.
I bet you that caretaker loves hookers just as much as Chris Farley.
Man. Judith Myers. Yeah.
Didn't they go back to that same graveyard for
the remake?
The remake, except a different area of it?
It could be. I mean, because he was paying so much homage to the original movie. But we had Sid motherfucking Haig was the caretaker. Somebody can blow my waist best clown suit.
He has to drop 6,000 F-bombs because Rob Zombie needs 6,000 F-bombs.
Per scene. He came home. Do. Judith Myers. Don't they mention somewhere like how heavy? No, that's in the remake.
That's in the remake. How heavy a tombstone would be.
Yeah, and there's no way one man could have lifted it out of there, and et cetera, et cetera.
You know what I want to finally emerge, and I know it exists. This is not me just being some conspiracy theory. I want the real original cut of Halloween 2, where Dr. Loomis is not a villain. Because if you look at the trailers, there is a ton of scenes that were shot that are missing.
How so?
I just explained. There's a ton of scenes that are missing.
Well, give me one, for example.
There was one, and it appeared in a lot of the TV spots, the Michael is more evolved thing. And we see that in the trailer as him. It looks like he's arguing his point to someone. That was not in the final cut of the film at all. All of Loomis that we saw in all the trailers was not like, the publicity-seeking Loomis. I mean, we saw the shot of like the new Myers house that they used very briefly. You might have even missed it in H2 because it was just in the background.
Right.
I mean, maybe he had an idea for it, or maybe they were going to play him off as... I
wonder what the decision process was.
Maybe they're going to play him off something like Scream 4, where like some seedy publicist is like using him to get everything out there.
Which, like,
and all he's trying to do is just like warn everyone that Michael's still out there, and some publicist is just trying to cash in.
But like the douchey Loomis in H2 probably has one of my favorite lines in movie history. It's like, I think it's at the Myers house, and the publicist says, like,
"If I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you."
Exactly. I don't know why. I just find that hilarious.
Ugh.
I'm going to use that somehow in one conversation.
You use it at work with that guy you think is going to kill everyone.
Oh yeah, because I probably could beat it out of him like that. Anyway, I said, "Are you going to be late?"
I said, "Aren't you going to be late?" Yeah, this right here, not across the street, but across the street going to the right of this angle is where the new Myers house is.
I think you can see in the next shot when Loomis comes into frame. Like
Possibly.
right over his left shoulder?
Over Brackett's left shoulder.
Yeah, over Brackett's left shoulder. And then we do this little arc shot around.
Nah, it would be...
Further down?
Further down.
Gotcha. But it's in this general area where the Myers house, where it's now a chiropractor's office.
And now we see the point where Loomis completely shits the bed and has his back turned to traffic, and Michael Myers drives right past him.
Well, this is actually kind of like a tribute to Orson Welles' A Touch of Evil, which they've mentioned in other documentaries where a lot of scenes are happening at foreground and background at the same time. And if you watch the movie like there's a scene of Charlton Heston in the foreground on the phone, and something's happening out the window behind him, and like it's obviously little nods to that. And now this is like a conversation I like between Laurie and Annie, when Laurie kind of opens up with like the guy she likes, but yet is embarrassed to tell her best friend, because like if you're kind of socially awkward like that, it'd be kind of a tough conversation to have.
Yeah, but you shove knitting needles into serial killers' necks, so you'll be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, that can be intimidating for guys. Like,
Yeah, but I feel like some guys are really into it.
if you accidentally come home like late and scare the crap out of her, she'll shove a knitting needle in your neck.
I sneak into my own house. It's 4 a.m. I had too much to drink.
I was arguing with Men's Warehouse.
If I wake up, I'll wake up dead. That's twice in 2 commentaries we made.
What do you mean Laurie Strode is Michael Myers' sister?
I don't believe it. And we haven't talked about the music yet. That 3-5
5-4.
5-4. My mistake.
2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Carpenter composed it himself.
I mean, it's an album, like, if you listen to it on its own, it's a little repetitive. That's kind of like early Carpenter albums like that, whether it be Assault on Precinct 13 or this, who's pretty much just lay things in just for the appropriate to the scenes. He wasn't really thinking, or at least I'm assuming he wasn't really thinking about the home market when it came to his soundtracks. Because if you listen to Assault or the original Halloween, it's kind of very same motifs played through many of the songs and stuff like that. It wasn't until like The Fog and Escape from New York where things became a little more distinctive when it came from track to track.
Well, I don't know if it was his very next movie, but I mean, eventually he got into that whole like 80s synth style.
Yeah, I mean, like, there were still keyboards in The Fog, but it was definitely very prominent in Escape from New York. That was 1980.
He's the man when it I feel he's the man when it comes to movie soundtracks.
Yeah, no,
Like movie scores and stuff. Like make it do the whole DIY movie score.
I mean, like, my favorite composer of all time is still Ennio Morricone, but he had a whole orchestra at times for whether it be the spaghetti westerns or the Untouchables or the myriad of movies he'd done. My number 2 is John Carpenter, because it's very DIY, do-it-yourself and stuff like that, and how he makes the most simple notes the most powerful ones when it comes to his movies.
It was. I remember when I was going for like music theory in high school and college.
Right.
They'd always refer to the tritone interval as like the devil's note. Like intervals in music is the distance between 2 notes. If you play 2 notes at the exact same time, they create a sort of tone, a sort of mood.
Right.
The tritone was always considered the most evil sounding. It was because of this movie that I argue that point. I feel like the minor second, where you just take a note and the next step up,
Right.
and play them together, that is used so many times when you hear like a dun, or a very long ringing.
Yeah, like, and it just rings, it sustains
like
out.
In this movie, when you have like any like long ring, like dun, he is using like that creepy minor second.
You know, like the tritone, like you're talking about, like Black Sabbath. That riff is the tritone, and that is the devil's note right there.
The riff to the famous riff to Raining Blood is a combination of your tritone and minor second. Do.
Huh?
Do. The first, yeah, like I'm going to do this over a microphone without a guitar with me. But the first 2 notes, that's a tritone.
Right.
Then from there, that's a minor second. And actually, that was actually used a lot in the movie Signs. That that's that combination. That's the first lick from the Raining Blood riff over and over again, except just moved into different root notes.
And I've always loved that score. I love, like, one thing you could say what you will about Shyamalan, his scores are always fantastic when it comes to it, and I love the Signs score, especially that note, because the movie opens with that, and it's like I'm sitting in the theater, and everybody was on pins and needles for the entire movie because it opens with that. Now here in like Loomis and Brackett have gone upstairs to see what the old Myers looks like now inside, and reportedly it looks like that Myers ate part of a dog,
Mm-hmm.
which is something they'll call back in Halloween Resurrection when he eats the rats and stuff like that. But
And in the remake, where we have to see him disembowel a dog, in number 2.
yeah, which was. Well, like,
And
which
the movie was so freaking dark.
Yeah.
at that point.
But it's weird because the first one was shot on 35 millimeter, and the second one was shot 16 millimeter. I don't understand why. I guess it's a stylistic choice.
I think it was the fact money and the fact that Rob Zombie didn't give a crap anymore. I think he just did it for the check because, I mean, from what I hear, H2 was not what he wanted it to be. Or
right.
As deep as, he wanted it to be Myers was dead and it was all in Laurie's head, and she eventually becomes him at the end because she's so tortured by his memory.
Which I would have bought that.
But I believe the studio, and this, I believe this. Speculation. The studio says you gotta have Michael Myers in it, and this harkens back to the John Carpenter and Deborah Hill's original concept for Halloween 4,
which was
where Michael Myers was, dead, and the memory of him still prevailed, and that the fact that people would try to repress it so much that his memory would really come back. It was more psychological.
Which then people argue that's more like Nightmare on Elm Street at that point rather than a Halloween
I don't know.
movie.
Well, we don't know that because it never happened. I mean, it might not have been literal. Maybe fucking the memory of Michael Myers would have turned Laurie into him and just brought him back in that way.
Right. Now sorry, folks. I just smacked the microphone stand, and this is obviously the very famous scene where Donald Pleasence gives his speech about simply and purely evil, which is
the blackest eyes, like a doll's eyes.
Wait, wrong movie.
Wrong movie.
Which I argue, Jaws, this, and Halloween are the same movie.
Yeah.
I mean, or at least they're very similar. It's a monster.
Jaws, this, and Halloween. This is Halloween.
I said Jaws, Alien, and this. I messed that up. I apologize. Jaws, Halloween, and this are very similar when it comes to
Jaws, Halloween, and this.
Oh my god, I did it again. Holy shit.
Jaws, Alien, and Halloween.
Yes. Points for you, because I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Are you sure there is no bourbon in your iced tea?
It is purely iced tea.
It's purely iced bourbon.
Bully. Maybe that is bourbon. My dad just didn't tell me. Doyle, where's it?
Well, yeah, back to what we were talking about before. Now that I'm looking at Laurie Strode here answering the phone all nice. Doyle, since what Rob Zombie was trying to do with Scout Taylor Compton was, I saw in an interview with him, he wanted to give Laurie a little bit of a modern take because he felt that if you present her exactly like she is here, she would be Amish.
That was the term.
And I get it. It's like you could have, like I know, girls like Laurie from the remake that have a little edge to them, but they're still like really nice people. They don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah,
very shy, reserved, timid. Mm-hmm. But they still got a bit of an edge to them because that's them trying to get that part of themselves out.
Yeah,
not walking J.C. Penney ad right here.
And then I love the dubbed dog here. I mean, like, that is totally a stock dog sound when it comes to this.
It is. I've heard it in other movies, and it's that stock dog sound where they did not know to level out their volumes because you could hear like it distorting.
Yeah. The Ben Tramer. You probably have the wrong number. Yeah, well.
Monster.
No, the monster's outside, Mike.
Monster is both outside the house and inside the frame.
Well, your wish is going to come true right now when Tommy looks out the window to look at Mike Myers. I think this
to look at Annie.
Yeah. Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? You've been hit by smooth killer. Dun, 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 dun,
Serial killer. I believe I heard that Brian Andrews, like there's a story, Brian Andrews, who plays Tommy Doyle here, tried to come back for 6, but he didn't have an agent at the time.
And so they went to Paul Rudd.
They went to Paul freaking Rudd.
Paul the log of wood Rudd.
Oh my god, in that movie.
Remember when you got the Blu-ray box set, you, Vicky, and I were watching Halloween 6, we were watching the producer's cut in the new Blu-ray format. And we were just pretty much counting how many times he looked over his shoulder dramatically back at the camera.
Just blank.
I'm not going to let him take you, Steven. Nothing's going to happen to you.
Totally sense the concern in my voice. Ew, and now it starts getting naked.
The monster is unveiling itself to you. Come on, Mike.
Good Lord, look at that spine.
That's scoliosis.
I thought all stegosauruses were extinct. Look, oh, Jesus. Is this a UNICEF ad or something?
Mike is not having any of this. That's why he distracts
For
her.
$5 a month, you could sponsor Nancy Loomis. Please call now. She doesn't have much time. She's going to die soon in the movie. She doesn't have much time. Please call. Sally Struthers needs another sandwich. No wonder why the dog wanted to go outside. I'd rather go outside and get killed than stay in there with that and just have my eyes burn.
And this is actually, several actors have played Michael Myers, and this is obviously the dog trainer that's doing this, and they shot this in slow motion.
And if it were Dario, or who is the guy that did Cannibal Holocaust? Rodrigo
Diageo.
This would be him killing the dog for real. If he did Halloween.
I actually watched Cannibal Holocaust when I was up at college once. I think I'll be fine if I never watched it again, but I think I'd actually buy a copy just to have.
I wouldn't even go that far.
Vicky and I saw Green Inferno recently, so.
Yeah, how was that?
It was the only time I thought I was ever going to throw up in a horror movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, and I've seen like the Hostel movies and all the Saws. Like that's the first time I actually felt like ooh, and I'm like, oh, is this really gonna happen? But
that wouldn't be the worst thing on the floor of that theater.
Zing. Well, there was a couple of, like Guido bro douchebags throw in front of us. So sorry for the culturally sensitive comment there.
It would have kept their hair in place better. The vomit.
But they're like, Jesus Christ, they're gonna fucking eat him, man. Yeah, and like they're having like four Rockies having a conversation. Full volume in the movie theater. Like that's how it was.
It would have kept his blowout up if all your sticky vomit was in his hair.
But then obviously we got the reference to Howard Hawks' The Thing, which would be an odd thing, since Carpenter would go on to remake it himself.
Like the ultimate fan service right there.
No, the ultimate fan service was in the Rob Zombie remake that they still showed the original Thing. He could have, like, if he wanted
he could have done Carpenter's thing.
That would have been an interesting.
Instead, he has Blue Oyster Cult playing like every 30 minutes.
Because Long Island's native rock band needs money somehow.
Yep. Well, it's hard working at Costco, and having to go on tour next week.
Naked underneath that sheet, that shirt, waiting for you, Mike. And obviously, Andy's going out to
do
laundry, which for some people, like, why isn't the washer and dryer not in the house? That's like how it was back in the day. Like, I know, I'm only 23.
They had laundry rooms.
Yeah.
Laundry sheds.
I'm pretty sure. I think my mom's, like, when she was growing up, they had a very similar setup like this.
I don't know anyone that has a setup. Who knows? Maybe it was a West Coast thing.
No, I don't think she did. I think it was in the house. Never mind. I'm just because it's been so long since I've been to my grandparents' house. But like you were saying before, like Michael just messing with people before he kills them. This is actually a prime example of it.
I'd love to see like if Halloween were like a real thing, like if this were real footage, obviously behind the scenes, like of him just like quickly running around the shed,
yeah,
like, giggling to himself. him like laying on the floor, just pulling that door shut.
Which I always like when later on in the movie when like Laurie calls the house and the lights come on. I think like Michael says, sliding down the banister, and there's boom, click, and then clicks it off. I'm convinced that's what happens.
Well, that's why he's breathing heavy all the time. He's tired. That's why he walks everywhere.
It's like I'm not running anywhere. And then we have shadows of the crew going across.
It would be like in Scary Movie when what is it the killer?
Yeah, the killer.
When he tells Cindy just like, oh, turn around. He's like hiding. He's trying to hide under the carpet, behind the couch, behind the bed. Like, oh, hey, no peeking.
And then when he's running up the stairs, he's like,
I gotta quit drinking. He runs into things.
She starts chucking everything down the grandma.
Those grandma.
The piano. Oh man, the first Scary Movie was pretty funny.
I know.
Oh man, I think it was the first time I ever saw like hermaphrodite with like a chick with like testicles. Because
your first time.
Oh, well,
the internet's been around how long?
Well, I was much younger than you. I wasn't like.
That's why you have the internet. You had the internet younger. You should have been into this stuff at like early ages.
Yeah, as
like trying to go on Barney website. And instead, you accidentally find that.
I actually did try to go into the Sin City movie website and ended up going to a website called Sin City, which was a porn site.
There you go. See.
This movie is sponsored by Tide because the tides are turning when it comes to these characters.
And I see a box of Clorox 2.
Oh, wait, they should
There
finish
it
out
is.
the movie. There it is.
Clorox 2. Whatever happened to Clorox 2?
They didn't make as much at the box office. So
Well,
they
people like the
canceled-
original. They didn't like the sequel that much. So.
Yeah, they canceled the series.
Like
after
New
that.
Coke
No.
and Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal's Pepsi.
I remember that. I remember that in the Van Halen commercials.
Oh.
Right now.
Right now. Hey.
Drink some Pepsi.
Yeah, but didn't
Come on, it's invisible.
I think you probably still buy a case of Crystal Pepsi on eBay if you want.
for like $700.
Yeah, and yet Tab is still produced.
Or I'll just look at my grandma's basement because I think one time I found like a can of Diet Coke from 1996 in my grandma's refrigerator in her basement.
Would you have drank it?
I did drink it.
Oh,
That's how I
God.
knew it was from '96. I drank it. I'm like, what is wrong with this? And I look underneath the sell-by date, 1996.
And when was this when you drank it?
Probably like 2005, 2006.
Oof.
Yeah, I remember the second time watching it. This right here scared the shit out of me.
Just boom, pops up right there.
I was watching it with my stepbrother, and the thing is, when you see a movie once, you don't remember everything, but
No.
you know that like you see a movie once, you know the effect it has on you, but you don't remember everything. Like I didn't remember all the musical cues and everything, and just watching it that second time was just mortifying.
And then they have this scene like where it's pretty much played out in one long take. It's something that's like rarely done these days, especially like a lot of people coming from TV. Everything's shot in close-ups and coverage, and just doesn't let it breathe.
And it didn't help either that I remember one night I was recording. It was a Saturday night. I was recording the old WWE WWF show Shotgun Saturday Night.
Right.
It was on TV 55, local station out here in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And after it came on Halloween, but since Raw was always doing an overrun, like they were going 10 minutes over, I always let the thing just run.
Right.
The VCR just run until like it ran out of tape or whatever. And Halloween came on right after it, and I'm like, oh my god, I've got it recorded now. I'm dead. And they had like this like scary intro to it that like the TV station made.
Right.
Where they
That's
just-
something like TV stations don't do. They don't have anything like personable, kind of like those kind of flourishes.
Oh, you could tell it was old too.
Oh, really?
You could tell it was something made a long time ago that they just had sitting around for every time they broadcast it.
They probably like, we're going to throw this out, otherwise we better use it. And
Yeah, see, right there, creating the whole he could be anywhere thing.
yeah.
That's one thing I also feel that Rob Zombie missed the point of.
Which just seems like this is the Rob Zombie Halloween bashing, but not total bashing.
I'm not going to say
podcast.
total bashing. Like Rob Zombie, he always tried to create that Michael Myers could be anywhere thing by literally showing him anywhere, off focus, out of sync, somewhere in the background. It's like with this, it's like, oh my god, he could be anywhere. He could be, oh my god, there he is. With Rob Zombie's like, oh my god, he could be anywhere. Oh, there he is.
Rather-
there. It's like find Michael.
Yeah. I
Where's
mean,
Where's Waldo? Where's Michael? It's like, oh, there he is. I see him just walking out of focus back there.
so you
No
think,
suspense.
You think you should have like had a little bit more restraint when it came to showing him?
I think either do it or don't do it.
Gotcha.
Because I know that like the second half of the movie is basically a full blown remake mode of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have preferred it'd be more of like.
As fan service, I was satisfied. So
Yeah, no,
just
like,
because
I
I love how this is.
I had the
done.
Rob Zombie Halloween poster on my wall for a couple years, so until like Halloween 2 came out, then so I was like, I think I'm gonna take this down now, and I put
I think I'm gonna use this to line my birdcage with.
and then I put up the original Halloween poster, the much better one, which now you have.
Yes,
Yes.
and I will never get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
I will save it if my house is on fire before I save my own mother. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say,
Horrible.
no, you'll
She
save.
don't listen to this.
You'll save MSG5 first.
MSG5. I'm saving a preservative.
Metal Sear, no, MS5. Oh, well,
Metal Sear Galid. I'm saving my
MGS.
I'm saving my Chinese food preservative. The headache spice. Version 5.
Woo!
And no one's called the police yet that there's a half-naked woman walking around this house.
What's Lindsay's like family name?
Wallace?
Well,
The Wallaces.
It's just the Wallace's babysitter. She's just streaking yet
Yep.
again.
I know the Doyle house has been insanely renovated to like it's almost not recognizable. Like you could sort of tell.
Well, the interiors I think it's a completely different house.
Yes, interiors and stuff, but I mean exteriors they renovated and
Oh, okay.
probably because they're just sick of like people showing up at their house. And look right there. They actually got the date right. See that?
The
Right
31.
above her head.
That's really good production design right there. And you can see, like, there's a little bit of distortion when it comes to anamorphic, when it comes to walls and stuff like that. It has a little bit of a warpedness, and that's part of the feelings of, or the part of the charm of that shooting anamorphic widescreen.
Boom! Thank you so much. Thank you so much for getting that out of the movie.
I jumped so high when I first saw this. I was like, whoa!
Well, what's funny was I was watching it. The first time I saw it was in a 4x3 VHS, so half of this stuff I got cut off.
Yeah, no, I think it was just the sound that got me, because I think I was so wrought with tension that it was just like the stinger got me, and then.
Well, that's the thing, when I saw it in widescreen, it's like he's there, he's there, he's there,
And
and then you literally see him pop up before he grabs her.
Yeah.
Just like that sudden zoom.
And no blood, which is, along with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's pretty much a bloodless movie. Texas Chainsaw has a little bit of blood when they kill the guy in the wheelchair, but
When he does that service to mankind by killing Franklin. Come on, Sally. I would have let him keep rolling down that hill, and I would have left. Hey, why are you leaving me behind?
Leslie Nielsen, Shirley,
I would have handed him over to the hitchhiker as a human sacrifice.
to save my friends.
Just
Yeah.
like, please, sir, if you'll take this, and both of you will just go away. What are you taking me around here for, Sally? Sally? All every line. Sally. Annoying. He has that like freaking what was it, like a turd he was carrying on in his mouth when they're looking at the blood stain on the back of the van.
Yeah.
It's like a piece of like sausage, but it looked like he had a turd in his mouth.
I think it was a dick in his mouth.
It was a turd. It literally looks like it's like a piece of like jerky or sausage that he's holding it like it's a cigar. It's like it looks like a lawn cigar.
I bet it was a turd just for the production just to mess with him like that.
Oh please.
And your second favorite shot of the movie.
What that?
Yeah, Michael carrying Nancy's body.
Carrying Monster Mash.
Yeah, but he doesn't drop
her.
her on the stairs accidentally.
Oh, I wish.
And then, whoops. Hey, they're married now. Just whacks her head in while he walks in the door.
I hope he did for real. Tommy Lee Wallace probably said, "Oh yeah, could you just like hit her on the head?" So
Don't worry, she's gonna be a bitch when directing her in Halloween 3. So
Yeah,
who
right.
cares? I think they were separated by that point. Pop just a good backhand against Tommy's face, even though he's speaking the truth. I believe you, Tommy, even though you just scared the shit out of me. And Laurie's response is pretty much the audience at that point.
I believe it. Just okay.
Fine. Fuck it. I don't care.
He just took me out of the movie, but thank you.
Yeah. She broke the fourth wall right there. Bleh. Forbidden Planet. Really good science fiction movie, even if people haven't seen it.
And then Donald Pleasance as the creepy old man hanging around with his children.
In a trench coat in the bushes. This
In a
really...
trench coat, but all he needs is a van, a beat up van.
There is a van in this movie. He might as well have to steal it, because not like the owner's going to keep it much longer.
Why not?
Hey, Lonnie, get your
ass in my
van. So these are the kids that bullied Tommy Doyle early in the movie, too. I bet this was shot in one day, these kids. They probably shot the school stuff and then shot this later in the at night. At night.
Well, the kid is played by Erwin Yablon's producer's son.
Huh.
His son, Mickey Mouse Yablon's.
And how you do a jump scare in movies?
Boom.
But no music cue, because he's not the monster. You could have had like if he wanted to just grab him to get his attention.
Hard smack on the ass he should have done.
Just how you doing? Like he just hit a home run. Like, how you doing, Lewis? How you doing?
And then when he felt touched like that, he would have done that thing from Hollywood. No. You break his hip by doing it.
You are the Duke of New York. Hey, number one. Looking at the wall, looking past the wall. Why is Pierce Brosnan voicing him?
We go in, we kill, no more talk.
The gate. That's Vernon Wells. Maybe you shouldn't be living here. Families all round up in rows.
Wes Bennett and Rancic from Power Rangers, same actor.
And he was in which John Hughes movie was it? Weird Science, I think he was in.
I don't know.
Or Pretty in Pink, one of the others. The guy.
Was he just as crazy in those?
Yeah, I think he was the same character in that. I think
He's telling Anthony Michael Hall, I don't need a gun. I don't need to shoot you.
I'm going to kill you now.
Bullshit.
Look, I shoot you between the eyes. I'm going to shoot you between the balls. It's the human fucking vacuum, as Jason Mewes would say.
And that van is too nice for a crazy kidnapper to drive. So we know that these people are good guys, sort of.
Yes.
He leaves the door wide open.
He's a jerk, that's why. He looks like the kind of guy...
Well, no, he just said then we ripped Lindsay's clothes off, so we know what the van is used for.
Oh, yeah, because he's a pedophile, as they would say in England.
Pedophile?
Which is one of my favorite jokes in this show, the IT crowd.
The IT crowd.
Pedophile! I'm pedophile!
She's dating a man named Peter File. Is there a pedophile here?
I'm pedophile! I'm pedophile! Hold the gate! I'm pedophile!
When she's dating the guy that looks like a magician. He literally does. You look like a magician. Well, maybe if I learned some magic tricks that would help. And it doesn't help and she breaks up.
You borrowed my copy of Heat. I am gay. I only dated you because you remind me of a man.
You look like a man. Taxi! A gay musical called Gay.
Stolen.
I'm disabled.
I'm pissed that Netflix doesn't have the 2 hour or like
the final special.
The final special. I've never seen this final special.
I haven't seen it either. I'm waiting for like a full box because the series was 24 episodes long. You could fit that easily on a DVD set.
You gave me your first season copy.
Yeah, because I'm waiting for a DVD set and I need to free up room. You want my Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy?
No, give it a Larkin.
Okay.
As Michael's jerking off as he watches these couple make out.
That's why he's breathing heavy all the time.
He's gonna get you. He's gonna get you. Ooh, he's a boogeyman. Just what I am. That Rob Zombie song from the 90s that was in Crow 2.
Did you ever see that Simpsons episode when Marge develops a gambling problem?
No.
And Bart has a bad dream about a boogeyman, so he goes and tells Homer, and Homer starts freaking out. Like, oh, Bart, tell me what your dream was. And he's like, goes back as if to ignore him.
Yeah.
Like, I had a dream that I saw the boogeyman. Boogeyman! He wakes Lisa up. The house is there's like a barricade of mattresses, and there's him with a shotgun aiming it at Marge because he thought there was a boogeyman in there. Oh no, Lisa had the dream about the boogeyman.
Oh, okay.
And he storms into Bart's room. Bart, I don't know what to alarm you, but I think there may be a boogeyman or a boogeyman in the house. Ah!
Still say one of my favorite Homer moments is actually from the movie when he's
boogeyman
when he's barricading the door. Get back! I got a chainsaw in here! They look into the peepholes and they're like, no, he doesn't.
Well, did you ever see the Cape Fear parody they did with Sideshow Bob?
Whack!
Bart, you want to see me with a chainsaw and a hockey mask? He storms into Bart's room in the middle of the night while Bart's afraid that Sideshow Bob's going to kill him. He's wearing a chainsaw and a hockey mask. Bart, you want to see me with a chainsaw and a hockey mask?
Whack! Whack!
Stepping on rakes. We're getting very visual now. This is not going to and off track. And speaking of off track,
she trips over the dolly track.
Over the dolly track. She's off track too.
Oh man! Well, I hope so. But people will probably enjoy this because we're bringing such high energy to it.
I hope so. I hope all two of you enjoy this.
Myself included, because I listen to these back at work because it provides me entertainment. I may be narcissistic for doing that, but
well, you got to hear how it sounded just to make sure it's usable.
Yeah, of course.
To make sure you could post it out publicly. And what house do you go over where you just leave beer cans all over the floor?
Douchebags do
this
that.
This is like shit my old stepbrother would have done. Like trash the house. Just, well, I was going to clean it up. They'll be home in 5 minutes. I had it under control.
Bullshit.
He did that once when his mother and everyone were away skiing. He had a huge party. The Christmas tree was knocked over. The bathtub was filled with condoms. The house reeked of weed. There was beer cans everywhere. And, I was going to clean it up.
Jesus.
He got banned from his mother's house forever.
I could see that, and now
he got stuck with us at his father's house.
Then we have this almost like Tommy Wiseau, the room sex scene, because he's obviously having sex with her pelvis.
With her knee.
Yeah.
He's over her knee.
He's like,
there's no other leg, so either she's keeping her leg perfectly straight, which means she has palsy or some kind of, defect, Or he's like laying on her knee. I know, I offended everyone with palsy
Oh,
out there.
fuck 'em.
Lord, I apologize.
Oh no, but I don't fuck them because that would be mean, and all of a sudden,
Why wouldn't you fuck them, Tim? Is there something wrong with them? Are they not human?
No, they're perfectly normal, and you know what? We should be able to do whatever we want. They should be able, and look at those mosquito bite nipples that PJ Souls has.
Look at that. Bug bites.
Oh man.
I get those on my neck from shaving sometimes.
Now I can see who I just had sex with. As the guy had bulletproof glasses. My dad had glasses like that for a long time. I've seen like old pictures of him.
I like in the zombie remake they gave him like the hipster thick rim glasses.
Yeah, no, but also like he could have killed them off in a more interesting way. Not more interesting, but different.
You saw too much of him in it.
What,
In Michael Myers in the remake,
Oh, yeah.
especially in that scene. It's like you're not supposed to know he's there. Like
yeah, he's just
like
chilling out.
the camera immediately pans up to the top porch where he's waiting, and it's like, don't do that.
No.
It's like have it where like Bob's, because then later we see Bob walking down the hallway with the ghost sheet on, and we think it's Michael, but
Boom, he gets jumped.
boom, he gets jumped by Michael. That would have been so much more effective if we did not see that Michael Myers was there.
Yeah.
And on the unrated DVD, they do. I don't know what the hell Rob Zombie. Maybe his editing workstation was on the fritz. They have something with a previous scene. We have that hard like dung sound, and it cuts to black, and it says trick or treat, and then it cuts to Michael just standing there staring into space.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
When in the theatrical, it fades into them backing into the driveway. And it's like what?
Yeah.
What?
Ooh, yeah.
That's why, like, both the remakes, the unrated and theatrical, I can't recommend one over the other because both have things I like and both have things I absolutely hate.
Right. And now
If I could take both versions of the movie and recut them, I'd be happy.
Right. And obviously, there's a nice build up where we're like, oh no, don't
know
go
where he is, but
And obviously, we hear the breathing. We know what exactly is happening.
boom!
Oh!
Yeah, but we don't know where. Like,
Yeah.
we hear the breathing. We saw the back door still open.
Oh, he shouldn't do that. Blood, it's too red.
Man, atmosphere.
Jesus Christ, you don't know the rules? There's
You don't know
certain
the rules.
One has to provide by the order to survive a horror movie. One.
Thank you, Mr. No Career Left.
Oh, yeah, doing Tremors 5 right now, literally.
Everyone from that movie just dropped off the freaking map.
Well-
Scream. Except for Courtney Cox and David Arquette. David Arquette will go on to have a long career as World Heavyweight Champion of World Championship Wrestling.
And then Courtney
is
Cox still had friends for years after that.
Which making David Arquette is why WCW is still around to this day. And making millions upon millions.
I don't know.
At the behest of the Lord God Vince Russo.
He would come out to the NWO theme, don't know why. Anyway, then obviously Michael playing a trick on her. We know who that's under the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like perfect tension build up. Like the audience knows more than the characters. That's the thing as Hitchcock has always preached when it comes to his movies.
Just literally just that frozen shot of the camera sitting there, like nothing moving, like
It's unnerving.
it's unnerving because you know something's going to happen and you're just waiting. It's just standing perfectly still. And no, I don't like those zits you got. You should put some proactive on that.
No, I know he said proactive, but now I'm just like kind of like reminded, like tough acting to acting.
That's for your feet.
I know. My ADD's going off a little too much right now. I apologize.
And it just keeps holding on
Yeah,
that,
it's
but
just
getting
like-
closer and closer, and ugh.
And it's not like he's not getting closer. The shot's getting tighter
the
and
shot
tighter.
is getting tighter on him.
And it's just like, ugh. It would have been kind of funny to see him go up the stairs with those glasses on through the mask and the sheet. Him just like,
He's walking into walls,
yeah, just
falling
like,
down the stairs a couple times because he trips over the sheet. Ka-thunk, 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 ka-thunk.
dun, dun, bum.
But still, just being able to see down the hallway. It's like, even though we know he's approaching, just seeing down the hall, just something about the openness. Like the claustrophobic, you could see more things further away than wide open. Just
Right.
creeps me out. The perspective of it.
Yeah. That's one thing, like, whether they say, another thing with movies today, not many things, like, people prefer longer lenses, which is, like, it compresses the space and everything goes out of focus. Wide-angle lenses, more things are in focus, and you have a greater depth of, you have a greater perception of what's in the frame and stuff like that, and that's why I prefer them. Excuse me. I'll kill you if this is a joke.
Now that we finally have a clear shot of his mask, obviously everyone knows, the famous William Shatner mask that was
Yes,
edited.
they stole money from me.
A lot. It's come out a lot in recent years, thanks to the power of looking up old movies. That
Running downstairs and sliding on the banister, click on the lights.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's come out in recent years now that people really have better access to movies and the internet. That
Right.
a lot of people feel that the Shatner mask was modeled off of Shatner's movie The Devil's Reign.
Yeah, I mean, James Rolfe on Cinemassacres brought that up.
Yeah, it's a movie about cults and stuff, and just
He
all
has
the
his
things.
eyes go black over when he becomes a cult member.
Yeah, and just like his face, the positions, the way he looks, it's the Myers mask come to life. So
Do you think that was consciously affecting this movie? Or do you think it was subconsciously affecting this movie?
both,
Yeah,
because Shatner looked creepy in it.
that's true.
And to model it off of that, I don't think it was modeled off Captain Kirk, because Captain Kirk was 10 years earlier, when his face wasn't falling apart.
Yet he'll outlive both of us probably.
Probably.
He's in his 80s right now. I mean, I honestly thought of all the original cast members, I thought he would be like first or second to go. I thought Leonard Nimoy would outlive him. Bilbo Baggins. Bilbo.
Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
Wasn't Bilbo Baggins.
Didn't he sing a song called Bilbo Baggins?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
Like
he.
Ian Holm was a.
Yeah, in the Lord of the Rings movies, and I don't know who voiced him in the Ralph Bakshi animated movies, but I think pretty sure he recorded a song about Bilbo Baggins. And obviously, Loomis didn't look down the street when he was waiting for him the entire time, just noticed the... Now, I wonder, is this still in front of the house that Laurie's in front of? And does he do a loop?
I don't.
The geography's a little iffy here.
It's iffy. Michael could have moved it back by his house just because, a car like that would look like. I think Michael followed them to see where they are, because obviously he's doing this over the period of a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I think he moved it probably jogged. That's why he's breathing so heavily.
Just his cardio's not been the best in the insane asylum.
You could say they're all in close approximation. He was able to get back there in time, but also look at how long they were driving as the sun is setting.
Yeah, but also in the Assault of Precinct 13, it changes the night relatively quickly when it has the father going out to seek revenge against the gang after they kill his daughter.
I want some ice cream, mister!
I never saw you break.
We had to pause the movie when we watched that. I was laughing my balls off.
I was saying here, we see like at the door, it's kind of like this weird shape to it because of the anamorphic lenses having that weird distortion on it, which I think does subconsciously add something to the movie. It makes it feel bigger.
Or Picasso did the architecture.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they chose Nancy Loomis, because of Picasso's choices.
Hey, Ham, look, I'm Picasso. Yeah, I don't get it. You uncultured swine? What are you looking at, you hockey puck? Bump. Dun dun. Bum. Dun dun. And this is an old Hitchcock technique. If you watch this scene and the scene when Vera Miles goes up to the house in Psycho, it's pretty much like the same.
Slow ascent.
Yeah.
It was so nice getting to see that in theaters.
Yeah, it was. And they're doing Dracula, I think, in a week or two.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have. And
I know they're doing Halloween. They're doing Halloween
on Thursday night.
on a Thursday, on the 29th.
I don't get that.
Are they afraid that so many people could be partying on the 31st that they're not actually it's a Saturday night? You have the old couples, that don't have work that can come out and do that.
Yeah, I know.
That's so asinine.
You probably won't be able to make it, will you?
Well, we'll see.
I don't think I'm scheduled for that night.
I
for my
doubt
second
I
job.
will. I'm mad that I was looking up Miami Connection was Thursday, and now it's also a replay on Tuesday.
Right.
It's like, why can't you guys have this shit on a Saturday?
I think that finally got a Blu-ray release. I think
They got a Blu-ray release a while ago. That's why it's been coming back.
Gotcha.
Because Draft House Films found a film print on eBay that wasn't labeled. They literally just bid for $50 on some random film print.
And
Found
just
it happened to be Miami Connection, and have gone on a insane marketing spree to bring it back. Like the amount of money they've spent remastering, marketing. If you go on the website, they have for sale retro VHS copies that they made, VHS prints, vinyl prints of the soundtrack, a special edition Blu-ray that comes with the sleeveless T-shirt that the band wears, which I want.
of course.
it's a movie that played in theaters for like a week, and then the film print was lost. It didn't even have a label on it. That's how much no one gave a shit about it.
All right, I argue like you could find a print of that, yet you can't find an unaltered print of Event Horizon. I find that kind of fishy. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, Miami, that was like an isolated, once in a lifetime, like winning a lotto ticket.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like
a very shitty lotto ticket.
Not the lotto ticket that'll get us to Pasadena.
Well, still, I love that Miami Connection. It's amazing. I love that movie.
And obviously...
And all its songs about friendship and ninjas.
And Lori thinks that her friends are just playing a joke on her because it's Halloween. That's what...
Now, for the longest time, I never heard that, like, the step upstairs, like the sound of, like, furniture being moved.
Right.
Just because of all my crappy prints. I mean, I've got my full 5.1 surround sound system, and on Blu-rays, everything is amazing with it.
Yeah.
That was Michael tripping up the stairs because he's so tired from running back and forth.
Well, he's got to carry Nancy Loomis and all of her
Carrying
bones.
that sack of fucking sticks upstairs.
He puts it down to see his glass break. It's kind of like Samuel Jackson.
He's so tired from carrying that feather body pillow up the stairs. That bag of bones.
And then obviously we got a Panaglide shot going up here. Now, like
these old style houses and stuff, the way the floors look and everything.
Yeah,
like,
all tile, like the tile right next to you.
Yeah, like just a shitty like plastic tile.
Mm-hmm.
But not even in like good looking patterns like that old '70s, the old like tan throw up wall color.
Yeah, I think. Tile upstairs too.
The old window types
with latches and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because I mean, I grew up with living with my mom and my great aunt, and my great aunt would take me to all her friends' house, and they'd have all these old style, unrenovated houses like this. And
right.
That's what kind of throws me back to, because I feel that's another thing that helps me get into the atmosphere of all this. It's like it's old style houses that I really remember.
Like my nana and granddad's house had a very similar.
My grandma's house still has.
Yeah.
Well, she's done a couple of things. Like finally, after 50 years, she replaced the carpet in the living room and painted it.
Yeah, my dad was talking about replacing the carpet in his room like the first time in like 20 years or so. And then another famous, but these are all like iconic moments strung together here. Just serendipitously happened to be coming. Like obviously, like Nancy made out to be Judith Myers here and like laid on the bed like this, and the pumpkin, perfectly lit pumpkin too. That's not a flicker in there. Maybe it's a light bulb in there, actually.
Probably.
And then...
the world's first electric pumpkin. Before you would see them in stores. And poor Chinese labor would mass produce them. That's the real horror. Is the child labor that mass produced those pumpkins.
You should have hanged around.
Stick around.
Stick around. Knock, knock.
Hang in there, bub.
Cross-eyed PJ Souls.
Yeah, I was going to say, like...
This is like the only thing that I don't like. That she should have booked it. She should have gotten the hell out of that house.
Well, she's a scared little thing. Huh?
Yeah, that's true. But I love.
I just jumped out the window,
like Hitler in Danger 5.
Yes, like Danger. And as always, kill Hitler.
I should write a comic book. How Michael Myers kills Hitler. It'll sell. Some hipsters would buy it. I'll produce like 500 copies.
If they could have Ninja Turtles versus Ghostbusters or whatever.
Yeah. Bump.
If they could have Batman versus Superman.
The longest staircase in the world.
And finally, what the buildup has led to, even more suspense. Like, that's what this movie is, just nonstop suspense. That's why I love it.
But the payoff is still worth it. It's not like,
oh, God, yeah.
It's not like a payoff. It's not like a buildup and then it's a disappointing reveal or anything like that. Love the fact he was able to get back into the house and get back upstairs while she was going up there.
That was the thumping. That was him climbing the freaking terrace and then falling on the floor because he's so exhausted. He just thunk like...
he climbed up a bedsheet rope, like a prison style. That's how he got back in the house.
It's him saying, I wish I would have taken some water from the fridge while I was down there. Now, here's the interesting part. He's in the kitchen. His arm is destuckified from punching through it. She gets out the door, and it's like a whole minute and a half before he follows her around. Like, maybe he did stop to get a drink.
Yeah, he's like, all right.
It's like, I'm really tired.
Flap puts the mask back on.
Made a sandwich.
And, The only cliche moment of this movie is like her falling down there, which and there's this moment here when she knocks on the neighbor's door and the neighbor thinks she's just messing with her. I mean, if you were like you had somebody come to your door like that, would you have opened it?
No, I've seen A Clockwork Orange.
Good point.
They're gonna kill me with a dick statue. My own dick statue that I have. So.
The Metal Gear Solid 5 hand. That's the
yeah. Right, they're gonna choke me with it.
Just like how the games choked the life out of you and your enthusiasm for that series.
No.
And it's the bushes that goes.
I guarantee you, most of my troubles and my difficulty with it is my own fucking fault for not preparing myself for each mission better. But
right now he finally comes out after.
Now he finally comes out after having some beef.
Yeah. And my favorite scene in the whole movie is like him just slowly approaching.
I will regularly, as I'm watching, just replay this over and over again. Just visualize like watching it with someone who's never seen it.
And then like everybody's just like chomping at the bit here, just like Tommy, get there quicker, go.
Well, when we saw it, your friend Dakota brought a friend, and she was terrified because she doesn't do horror movies, and this is like the apex of them at least.
And then she's just like just squealing through it, just like oh.
And she was saying afterwards, just the tension would not end, like they would not get it over with.
But the tension's not too exhaustive either. I think like the running length of this movie is just right. I think horror movie should be an hour and a half, not 2 hours, because some like The Shining is it doesn't like it's an exception to the rule. But also, I'm not the biggest fan of The Shining either. I just feel like I like it. It could have been cut down though.
I think that the delay is. I think that the length of The Shining is there because you know that they're staying in this place for months on end, so we have to make it feel like we're staying there months on end and show gradually how he's just losing his marbles.
Yeah, but that's the problem with Jack Nicholson's casting. As soon as like you see him, like, oh, this guy's obviously off his rocker.
Obviously off his rocker, and he's just a normal dude.
Well, I'm sorry that my drinking problem has gotten the worst of me, and I'm gonna have to kill our child. You are my number one guy.
I don't know. I'm not against 2-hour horror movies as long as there's enough real substance and it keeps me into it.
True. I mean, you're not going to see a horror movie the length of like The Dark Knight Rises or anything like that.
If there's enough substance and enough to keep me into it, you know? Because that's the one thing about long movies. If they do it in a way where it doesn't feel its length, it don't matter how long it is.
Like, I think Martin Scorsese's a magician when it comes to long movies. Like The Wolf of Wall Street and the Casino, over 3 hours. They fly by. And I also think it's just his energy when it comes to filmmaking. They're just like...
Imagine if Halloween Returns is 2 hours.
Which I am hesitant about, and like most horror fans will bitch about things, but still go see the movie. I'll probably end up still going to see it.
I'm probably still going to see it just because like Halloween is the one thing that like I will always see. Like I saw Halloween Resurrection in theaters and have been into counseling several times because of that. But I mean, like once I found out it's a reboot-quel or whatever, a rebooted sequel, a la Texas Chainsaw 3D, Superman Returns.
Sorry, I just love that moment.
Once I found out they were doing that, all my enthusiasm died. I even posted the South Park banker meme.
And it's gone.
It's like, okay, we have our enthusiasm for Halloween Returns, and it's gone.
But actually, I do... The guys who are writing it, actually, the guys who wrote like the second half of the Saw trilogy, and I like how that thing is plotted, like the Saw series is plotted out, because it's very tight-knit, those movies, like, and how like things are set up and paid off later, but... You can argue the content, whatever, but I'm just like, that team working on it, I'm like, okay, at least it'll be tightly plotted if it's not too muddled with a studio like H2 was. But then again, we'll see. Hey, Rack Focus, like one of the only first.
Oh, God, I love it. And that's the funny part, man. Like, that's another thing where seeing it, when I saw it in widescreen for the first time, I saw him come up the stairs, I'm like, holy shit.
He's right there.
It's like, when you do it in full frame, that part is cut off, and he's just literally...
Yeah, the pan and scan version of it.
The pan and scan version... But that effective, a split second before you see him going, and you're just like, whoa!
Yeah.
Imagine if Halloween Returns winds up being a reboot-quel that is followed by Halloween 4, so you have Halloween Returns and then Halloween: The Return of Michael Myers.
He just keeps returning for more movies. For 22 movies.
He's always returning.
He's going for 22 movies. That's when he'll stop.
What do you mean I have to fit all this continuity? What am I, a Hollywood writer? I'm only getting paid millions to do this. Why should I have to fit all these things together?
Now we're the personification of the internet, just bitching about something else, so nobody's going to really care.
But do you get my point, though?
I do. No, you do have a point there.
I have. That's why, like, I've said this to you before. I have such a huge appreciation for
the Marvel comic book series.
No. This guy, Leyland Chi. Mm-hmm. The guy behind Star Wars' Holocron database. This guy, before Disney came along and just decided to flush the continuity toilet,
right?
This guy was hired by George Lucas as the person who maintains continuity in everything Star Wars related.
Right.
Where you could not release a video game, a book, anything Star Wars related until this guy gave the approval and said that it fits within continuity. I appreciated that so much because the Star Wars universe is such a huge mythology. You can create mythologies.
Yeah.
Thing is, you got to make everything run down the center smoothly.
Right.
And the only time his job was ever really difficult was when George Lucas himself made the prequels and just, midi-chlorians and infant Leia saw her mother. It's like, I'm sure that was a huge headache for him.
Yeah.
Because George Lucas overrides anything he does, but like this guy.
Yeah, but I think the headache was subsided with the next check that he got.
I guess. I mean, well, probably, maybe not, because all the things George did, now, like, everything else is being retconned that's ever come out.
Which could just be bullshit on Disney's part because like so much things that Abrams does, he plays everything close to vest and putting up this information out there. It could just be something just to subside fans for now.
I don't think so, just because they've already started that new animated series.
What, Rebels?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And just the fact that they've gone so far on record to say that the old continuity is, dead.
But it's not
it's
like
Legends continuity.
Yeah, but also then,
so Leyland
but it doesn't mean you can't read it or experience it.
Oh God, no! It means you can. It's just that it's not going to be. It's not all going to be there expanding anymore. And poor Leyland Chi is probably heating up some onion rings right now at Burger King.
Like that's why I got the Thrawn trilogy on audiobook, and I think that's a great complete story on its own right. And I don't care what even as great Force Awakens could be. I'm like it's still not. It's still. I'm still going to acknowledge the Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those things.
I think that's part of what hasn't gotten me into Force Awakens just yet. I mean, I'm going to see it because I have faith in it.
Yeah.
I just haven't been hyped.
Gotcha.
Well, anyway, back to Halloween. But my point of that whole rant was I truly appreciate writers who can make even the shittiest of continuity
work
still possible, and almost, if anything, give you a new way of looking at it. Anyone if there were a writer come along that could somehow make Halloween Resurrection watchable, I would love the man forever.
Right.
I would think he's amazing. I mean, I think that shows skill as a writer to take these things that other people did and sort of make them fit. I mean, that's another reason why I like Halloween H2O is because it's like they don't flat out say 4, 5, and 6 didn't happen. You still, as a fan, can put these movies into this continuity.
Right.
Even though if things aren't perfectly down the line, there's still enough not being concrete. You know?
And then when Michael gets back up and the audience is terrified, and
he's choking her. He's choking her. Good God. Good God. Then he pulls Kane's mask off.
Hey, it's what's his name? Tommy Moran or whatever.
Tony Moran.
Tony Moran, who showed up to Oswego to talk about his work in Halloween, where he was there for one day.
Convention whore extraordinaire. This guy, I don't know, man. He must always need to be paying bills. Yeah, that when he just slowly climbs over it
Halloween 2, where he goes up the ramp.
Yeah.
And he falls into the backyard. Rick Rosenthal, not the front yard.
Rick Rubin.
Can you play it for me again?
The old druid himself, Rick Rubin.
Maybe he's one of the druids in Halloween 6.
Maybe.
That's his producer's cut.
That's the thing about Halloween 6. It's like you got this scary, evil cult basement. It's like, you may tell me there's no government inspectors that ever have to come there and search the building?
Yeah, this is...
how do they keep it heated? I'm sure there's some, HVAC guy that comes through there. It's like, okay, this is our creepy dungeon. Just don't worry about it. The boiler's this way.
Okay.
And now this here, Donald Pleasant saying I could play it two ways with the ending of Michael Myers being gone.
Scared, or I knew this happened.
I knew this would happen, or oh my God, and he played it I knew this would happen. But I see right there.
There's initial shock right there.
There was a hint of, oh my God.
But it's because of that, this face and him being gone is why it turned into a series. If he was still there and it ended, Probably, I doubt we would have gotten a sequel right away.
A sequel, a sequel, a sequel, a sequel, a sequel, a sequel, and more sequels, and now a reboot. Cool.
Yes. And then we have the moments where, like, we're just played off all the moments where he could be because he's ascended
He could be where he was and where he could be.
Yeah, he's ascended to pure evil at this point. That's why we hear his breathing at this point.
The whole he got away, but where is he? Dr. Loomis, I am your father.
No! That's impossible!
That's impossible!
Impossible!
Impossibly!
And that was Halloween.
It never gets old.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry if people, like, we've got off so track.
We got off topic so poorly.
It's okay. Like, as long as we're entertaining, I say that's warranted. Graveyard Keeper Arthur Mallet. His last name is Mallet. Or Malay. Or he's Malay.
And they got Michael Myers, age 23. He was 21. I hate this movie because of that.
Yeah.
He's 21. This movie's stupid. I hate it forever. Fuck you, John Carpenter. Hashtag unsubscribe.
Yeah, see, he's joking right there. Please don't kill us. Ray Stella. He was stellar with that Panaglide. Woo!
My microphone does still work. I just no.
I'm sorry. That was a terrible joke. Whew. Wow. Well done. So, would you recommend this movie to anybody?
Fuck yes. I recommend it to everybody and their dog.
Well, maybe not the dogs, because the dogs might be scared, because many dogs died during this movie.
Whatever. The dog will enjoy it.
The dog will enjoy its comeuppings. It's kind of like somebody played...
I recommend this to freaking blind, deaf invalids. I recommend it to everybody. I recommend it to fish.
Yes. Filmed in Panavision. Now, there's somebody like played a clip from like when Simba is talking to Mufasa, like to Mufasa's body when he dies in Lion King, and it's just filming the dog, and the dog just starts crying because he feels the emotion change in the room.
There you go.
Maybe we should make the dog watch Halloween. Now, I hope everybody's enjoyed this commentary and enjoyed.
I don't hope you enjoyed it. I hope you loved it.
Yes. Hey, go buy it on Ray. Blu-ray.
Go buy it and blow some guy named Ray.
So I hope everybody enjoyed this commentary and enjoyed the commentaries for this horror season 2015. I'll be back soon with other commentaries of geek and pop culture. You can follow me on Twitter at TimothyRooney2 and follow my YouTube page Through the Lens Productions. My latest film, Spirit of the Lake, is up there, as well as promos for this season of podcast, which you have hopefully listened to, and if it's done in time, there will be something Halloween related up there as well. Hopefully you can enjoy that. Thanks for everybody listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Peace.